Labour, I'm sure, is getting ready to snap into yet another by-election mode and probably win it when Peter Bone is not only stripped of the Conservative whip but marched out of Parliament and so forcing a recall vote. His suspension from Parliament has been recommended by the independent expert panel in their report and by the Standards Committee. Bone says he's done nothing wrong, but, the person who made the allegations has now gone on record on the BBC saying that he felt abused and that Peter Bone had this extraordinary pendulum-like character, 1 minute pleasant, the next minute shouting and throwing things or exposing himself, flashing. And I just find it extraordinary that a man who can be so free with his votes against same-sex marriage can be equally so free with his genitalia. But no doubt Peter Bone is going to have to consider what he's going to do next, because going back into the House of Commons after exposing the world to his pudenda is not likely to endear himself to any electorate or indeed he's not likely to be successful in that effort. So, where can he go next? Maybe, oh my goodness, there's a hole waiting for Peter Bone in GB News, isn't there? Because it's been vacated only recently by Dan Wootton, who apparently is going to return to his haunt, his hobbit hole in Wellington in New Zealand, and in the absence of going to Scotland. So who else could possibly have the credentials to take on the Dan Wootton show, except for another failed MP who exposes himself allegedly? Of course, there is a slight difference here. Dan Wootton allegedly was collecting photography of people who were exposing themselves, while the Peter Bone seems to have cut out the middleman. Perhaps that's what all the shouting and flinging stuff was about. Get out of my life. I can do the exposing of myself. I don't need to expose other people. I can expose myself, says Peter Bone. Well, maybe he can. Maybe that's the way forward. Do it yourself. And a sort of onanistic thrill from Peter Bone and Peter Bone. Come into my life, Peter Bone. Share a bedroom with me, Peter Bone. Let's cavort on GB News, Peter Bone. I think he's got all the right credentials. GB News must be knocking on his door even as we speak. I'm sure. Won't it be fun? We can switch on. We can turn on rather than turn. Oh, we can turn off. We can turn off Peter Bone. Ha ha! Turn him off. Turn him off. Turn him off in large numbers. That would be that would be a new experience for everybody. Here am I, Peter Bone. I can be turned off.